Right. Okay. So till yesterday, we have seen the uh, different kind of users: the first-time user, implementation user, and the functional user. And we have seen how to assign roles to the user, and we have seen different ways of assigning a user. If it is implementation user, go to security console and create the user. If it is a functional user, as we need to tie a human being to a functional user, we have other way to create the functional user while hiding the employee or going to the manage user account of the employee record. See that. So now, as we have already seen the uh, uh, users and assigning roles to the users. So what I will be doing now, I'll be coming back to the fundamentals of the roles. We already spoke about this role inheritance diagram, what I'm showing to you. We have discussed this, but let's go in detail about each and individual role. What is data role? What is job role? What is aggregate privilege? What is duty role? What is security profile? Let's go in detail about each and individual element. Okay, that's all we're going to talk about in today's class. Okay, so before going to the individual roles, I wanted to talk about this hierarchy again, and I will go to the individual ones and we'll keep talking about that. Okay, so again, coming back to this hierarchy, we always know that uh, job role will be having the duty roles and aggregate privileges, and duty roles can inherit other duty roles. We will talk about that. And we assign this job role to a data role. Okay, job role typically, what does it bring? The job role typically brings what screens do we have access to, what application flows we can see, what task flows you can see, what work areas you have access to, what reports you can run. So it will bring all the list of screens to which we have access to, and this security profile typically brings what data you have access to. These two things will be combinedly assigned to data role, which typically brings access to the screens and data, and this data role is assigned to the user. That is typically how it works, right? That's how it works. So we know job role inherits aggregate privileges and duty role, and job role is assigned to data role, and security profiles or security policies are assigned to data role, and this data role is assigned to the user. That's how access to the page and access to data will work together. In HR, we call it a security profile, and in the finance world, we call it as a data security policies, which is generated in the FSCM. We will see that in next class. Okay, right. Now let's go in detail about what is data role, what is each individual item. Okay, so let me go back to that screen.
See, as per my understanding, Lakshmi, data role is the one which is going to give the privileges what data a user can able to see.
How they can access the data is from the security profile.
How? Okay, that's what I'm trying to understand, the difference between data role and security profile. So, okay.
Data role is a combination of job role and security profile.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Right. We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the duty data role in detail actually, and we are going to create one, and we're going to assign a job role to data role, and we're going to create a security profile. We're going to do everything actually in as a hands-on. Okay, before starting the roles, before starting that, everywhere I was talking about the screen and data. Two things, right? The fundamental components in any security implementation. Okay, the screen. Okay, is that a question?
Can we assign directly job role instead of data role?
Yes, absolutely. We can assign. In that case, that person cannot see the data, but the person can see the screen. I'm going to demonstrate that one too. Okay. Once I cover this theory part, the first thing what I will do, I will assign a job role to the user, and we log in as that user, and we will see whether that user can see any data or not. And then we can create a data role and assign proceed ahead from there. Okay, we are going to make that one as well. Okay, so coming back to the fundamentals again, as I was telling, the core components of any security model is access to screens, access to data. So in the Fusion, it's also the same, and the screen, the base component, a screen, is called as a function privilege. Okay, function privilege is a programmable element. If you develop a form, that will become a functional privilege. If you develop a report, that can be configured as a functional privilege. Okay, if we create a custom a page, right, then if we wanted to make that page accessible in the Fusion application, we have to register it as a functional privilege. Okay, so when I say functional privilege, it is any programmable element configured in the Fusion is called a function privilege. A work area. Work area means what? If I go to, as I was showing in my page navigations session, I was talking about work area means what? If any of this component is called a work area. Okay, and in the work area we have a task list. In the task list we have a tasks. Okay, work area is an element, or task flow or tasks are an element. An application page is a base core programmable element, or a report or a dashboard is also a programmable element, or a batch program, a scheduled job. If you schedule any jobs, that also called a programmable element. So any of these work areas, dashboards, task flows, application pages, report, batch programs, web services, any of these are programmable element. So it means we can access, if you log into application, we can access any of these. Which one we can access, which one we can't access, comes from the security. How that security will be defined, we are going to talk about that in our next slides. So functional privilege is a basic programmable element. Okay, that's what I was trying to show here. First thing is called function privileges, and second thing called data security policies. So what is a data security policies? Is actually determine who can do what on which set of data. Which set of data is the one where this data security policies will be involved. So every data security policies basically, and again, so these data security policies will be stored in the application, Oracle Authorization Policy Manager, which is again a component of the Fusion middleware. So there actually it will have all the data security policies, whatever data security policies we define. We're going to see how we are going to define that. But whatever we define about data security policies, those data security policies will be resided in the Oracle Authorization Policy Manager. So what does the data security policy will contain? Number one, it will contain the basic table, database resource. Basically, that is the table on which actually we are trying to see the data. The first step is to database resource that references the primary key corresponding to the database table or view of the business object to be secured. If you wanted to access the employee information, so the first thing, employee table. Or if you actually want to access the expense reports table. Okay, first thing, data security policy will have a database resource table, and then whenever a data security policy is defined, we won't define that policy individually. Always we define the policy for a role. Okay, we always define the policy for a role, so that security policy should also have a role that has been provisioned with the users who can perform the granted actions. For which role we define the data security policy, that role name will be there. And there is third one is when we say the database resource, a table or view on which we are pulling the data. While pulling the data, we will try to apply some where conditions, a criteria, right? Who can see the data? That is a where condition. Okay, an SQL predicate. a rule, we would say, a rule, also known as a condition, to define the row instances in the form of an SQL predicate defined on the database source. Whatever table we are talking here, on the table, while pulling it, what where conditions, what criteria we have to apply on it. That's what the third one is called, a rule or a condition. Okay, we have a SQL query, we have a database, and SQL query with where condition. Once we have the data, then what actions you can do on the data? You can view only the data, or you can edit the data, or you can delete the data. So what actions you can perform? All these four will be stored in data security policy. A database resource, a tabular view, or a rule, a SQL predicate on where condition, and third one, what actions you can do along with the role that is being provisioned to create this data security policy. So this data security policy and functional privileges are the core components of the security, which will be act together to pull data on any screen, to run a report, or to call a web service, or to run a batch program, anything like that. Okay, these two are the core components, and whatever roles we are going to talk about now, all those roles will be structured on top of this base. Okay, now as we have seen these two, and I'm going to show that as well, these three things. Typically I usually show these two things at the end of everything, but I want to start with this today because these are the core components, and I'm going to show where the database resource resides and how to create the SQL predicate and what actions we can create. I'm going to show that in a while. Okay, right. Now let's start talking about the different roles what we have in our Fusion application. Till now we already seen this data roles. In the inheritance we have seen the data roles, job roles, aggregate privileges, and duty roles. Okay, and another thing called abstract role. We're going to talk about what is abstract role. Okay, let's begin with the data role. So data role actually enables the functional users to access both functional components. When I say functional components, is actually a functional privileges. So functional component like pages, task flows, regions, reports, and anything, and data needed to be performed the assigned job. Okay, so it's accessing the screens and data for that specific job. Okay, for whatever job this data role is created, whatever the functional component the job role will bring, along with that, whatever security policy we assign the data role that come as data, and those two things will be acting together and giving the required features to the functional users. Okay, the functional user can be an employee, or can be a contractor, can be any other person. Okay, and this data role always requires a job role as part of the definition. Without having a job role, you cannot create a data role. We have seen the hierarchy. Okay, it requires a job role as part of the data definition. So thing we have to remember, without job role, you cannot have a data role. Okay, data role is derived from the job role. Okay, and it also identifies user accessible data instance sets. Yes, data security profile, as I said, that security profile gives what is the accessible data instance sets. Okay, and is not delivered as part of security reference. So security reference is the word which actually we will be using it very, very frequently. So what is a security reference? Okay, security reference is actually what Oracle has created, a repository of the roles. Okay, repository of the roles. As I was saying, when I talk about the job roles, we know job, if it's a HR. In HR, we know what jobs will be there. If finance, we know what jobs will be there. Supply chain management, we know what jobs will be there. Okay, and every job needs some set of duties to perform. Okay, every duty is nothing but accessing some screen or accessing some process or running some report. So what Oracle did, I'm going to show that security reference implementation documentation again. what security reference implements security reference is Oracle has figured out all the necessary jobs needed for the industry, either in any of the domain what Oracle has, Oracle product family has. In every domain, Oracle has identified all the necessary jobs needed, what are the duties each job will perform, and what are the in the duty what kind of things to be performed. All those things got segregated and combined together at one place, that is called security reference. Security reference is repository of the roles, you can say. Oh, sorry, it's repository of the roles. Okay, so in that, whatever the reference model they give the list of job roles, list of duty roles, list of screens, list of data policies. Okay, but they won't give the data role. Oracle never give a seeded data role. The reason is data role always works with our company structures. Okay, so Oracle don't know what is our company structure is. Oracle don't know what are our enterprise structures are, right? So data role has to be created based on enterprise structures. But maybe our company is available, in example, our company is operating in US and Canada only. Okay, so in case I have to create a data role, example, if I have HR model in my company, then I have to create a data role for one data role for US, saying that HR for US, and one data role for Canada, HR for Canada, so that HR in US can see only the data of US employees, HR in Canada can see only the Canada employees, and they will have some set of operations to perform on the US employees, some set of operations to perform on the Canada employees. So data roles will be never be a seeded data role. Data roles should always be created by the company itself. Okay, and it's always locally defined in the cloud applications. That's what I was saying. It's always defined within the cloud applications, and it's never a part of a Oracle repository. And it's all
means it has been created by means functional implementation consultant, I can say.
Exactly. Yep, it's true. Implementation consultant or a functional user. That's the right term. And it's assigned directly to the users. We have seen that data role can be assigned directly to the user. Okay, and is created using different component for different offerings. So when we talk about data security policies, so data security policies, the way the data security policy is defined is based on different offering. If you use HCM, you use data security policies using security profiles. If you use finance or supply chain management, you use a data scope or data context to assign roles. This is how we achieve the data security policy creation in FSCM. In CRM, we use the resource roles and job titles to derive the data security policies. There are three different ways based on the offering that we have, based on the licensing what we have. Okay, so that's how we need to make sure this is the way we need to create the security policies. We're going to see the HCM and FSCM part, how to do that anyway. Okay, right, this is a data role. Now going one level down, okay, before coming to abstract role, let me talk about job role. Job role, as I said, align the job that worker is hired to perform. Okay, and job roles define the grant, the access the workers need to accomplish the tasks defined in assigned job description. Okay, the job roles is based on what job employees hired for. Okay, if employees hired to maintain the suppliers, if it's a SCM, we have the SCM, supply chain management, in our company, and if that employee is hired to take care of the supplier information, then that person should be having access to the supplier screens and data. If the person is hired as a recruiter in United States, the person's job is to hire the employees in US only. So the recruiter should have access to the screens where they can hire the employees, create the offers, create the vacancies, and so many things on US data only. So based on the job role, based on the job what we are performing, those list of tasks, a list of duties that job will do, those list of jobs and duties will come under the job roles. Okay, and what Oracle did, as I was telling, Oracle has created almost all the job roles what any company is needed and kept in the security reference model. Security reference model, which comes along with the Fusion licensing. Whenever you buy Fusion licensing, the security reference model will come along with that licensing. It means it will have the default list of job roles defined in the system. Okay, and so let me show the security reference model before talking much. It makes sense for us to know what is that. Okay, right. So before going to show you the reference model in the system, let me start from the Oracle Enterprise Repository, typically where we go for any of the help. Okay, so you can go to any of the modules to look at respective help. Okay, so I'm going to go global human resources. So if you need to look at the what roles Oracle has given to us, you have to go to the roles content. Okay, so release 13 is still under developing. I am going to release 12. In the release 12, in the security section, we have something called Securing Oracle HCM Cloud, Security Reference for Oracle Applications Cloud Common Features. And as I am in HCM help, I have Security Reference Model for Oracle HCM Cloud. We have these three. Okay, so if you click on example, if you click on this one, so this is the documentation where Oracle will give what are the seeded job roles, what are the seeded roles Oracle is offering as part of the security reference model. So this is the list of roles what Oracle has already created for us. What all we need to do, we just need to make sure if any of this role is fitting our need. Example, job role cash manager, job role compensation administrator, job role compensation analyst. So if you see, all these job roles are created by Oracle, and if you see, every job role has list of things under them. Duties, what are the duty roles this job role is inheriting? What is the role hierarchy? What are the aggregate privileges this job role is inheriting? Privileges, in each duty role, what are all the functional privileges we have? And what are the data security policies available for this job role? Okay, so all this job role has given by the Oracle out of the security reference model. It means whatever job role we have here, the same job role is already available in the Fusion application. Example, human resource analyst is there. This job role is already available in the Fusion application because that comes as part of the basic vanilla instance, the basic model itself. Example, if you go to Oracle application and if I go to the security reference model where we can security console, where actually we can search for the any jobs and users. Okay, in the security console, till now we have seen how to search the user, how to create the user from going here, right? But there is one that on top of it we have something called roles. This screen, okay, in this screen you can look for what are all the roles available in the Fusion application. Okay, by default you can search for job role, duty role, abstract role, any other role privileges and aggregate privileges here. So the one I copied here, the human resource analyst, if I try to search for that human resource analyst here, I can see the human resource analyst job here. See here, human resource analyst job is already available here as a job role. It is actually a seeded role already given by the Oracle. It's a seeded role. Okay, this seeded role is already given by the Oracle, and that seeded role will have that will have some duty roles get inherited and some aggregate privileges and some data security policies. Okay, so what I am trying to say here is the same thing. So as part of the security reference model that is installed in the Fusion, the job roles will be available. So what we need to do, we can what typically in reality what happens is, here in reality, functional consultant, implementation partner will have this human resource analyst role. They will say that these are number of duty roles available for the human resource analyst. Typically, implementation consultant or the functional user, they will typically take the list of duty roles, list of privileges what this job human resource analyst has access to. They will take this list to the client and saying that, hey, this human resource analyst job role is giving these set of accesses, this set of screens access. So in your company, does human resource analyst job performs more than any of these action, or human resource analyst in your company doesn't need access to all these things, they may need access to only set of things? If they say that, typically what we need to do, we have to take this seeded role and create a copy of the seeded role. And if you don't want access to some screens, take out the access to those screens, remove those roles, remove those duty roles, remove those aggregate privileges, and whatever remaining roles and privileges are there. With that, whatever copied role we have, that role we can assign to the respective real HR analyst of the company. So that is how typically do the modification of the role and assign the modified role to the user. Or if the company says, no, whatever is mentioned given by the Oracle, absolutely same job roles, same duties, even the human resource analyst in my company also do, then what all we need to do, we just need to use this job role. And using this job role, we have to create a data role with the proper security policies and give the data role to the respective user. Okay, so it means we can create a custom job roles. We can do that. We can create a custom job roles, and the preferable way of creating custom job role is to take the seeded job role, take a copy of it, and then get the copied role and play around with that copied role. That is way we can. That is the recommended way. Or we can go ahead and create a brand new job role, and then we can attach the privileges, aggregate privileges, or duty roles and data security policies separately. We can still do that if you have a thorough understanding about what privileges are accessible, need to be assigned, and what data security policies need to be assigned. We can do that. Okay, and one important thing is whatever Oracle has given as part of the security reference model, those roles should not be modified. Okay, if this role is given, this role should not be modified at any cost. You will have access to edit this job role, but you should not edit the seeded job roles at any cost. The reason is, if they do any upgrade or if do any patches, whatever changes you do will get lost. So don't update the existing job role. Always create the copy of the job role, and then always go ahead and create the copy of the role, and then create the new one. But by doing the necessary changes, we're going to see that how to do the copy. Okay, so that's another important thing, and it's always used to create data roles. 95% we use the job roles to create data roles, and 5% of the cases, sometimes we will assign job role directly to the user. Some cases it is needed just to give access to some of the screens. We will see that, and these are not normally assigned to users directly. We should not assign to users. It should be assigned to data roles, and data roles should be assigned to user, and not normally assigned. But as I said, there are 5% of the cases where we will be assigning the job role to the user, and all are defined and maintained in security console. Like what I was saying, it's a security console where we can create and maintain the job role. Okay, and are made up of duty roles and aggregate privileges. Yes, job role always inherits the duty roles and aggregate privileges. That's what we are seeing here. Job role always inherits the duty role and inherits the aggregate privileges. So human resource analyst is inheriting all these duty roles, and here we have a role hierarchy. Typically every security reference model will have a duty roles and the role hierarchy. Role hierarchy, nothing but all the direct and indirect roles being inherited by the human resource specialist job. So these are all the list of roles which are being inherited, and these are all the aggregate privileges which are being inherited by the human resource analyst role. And the last one is the privileges. Privileges, nothing but each duty role, whatever we have defined here, each duty role will have the list of privileges brings along with that duty role. So it also mentions what this duty role, what are all the privileges we are receiving with that duty role. Okay, and the last one is actual data security policies, which will talk about what data security policies will be applied on that specific for this specific job role. Example, absence case means a human resource analyst can manage absence for persons and assignments in their person security profile. Okay, it means absence means a human resource analyst can create an absence record on behalf of an employee, enter the leave, sick leave, or whatever leaves on behalf of employee. But on which employee they can enter the leave? Whatever security profile is assigned to that human resource analyst data role, whatever data role we are going to create, whatever security profile we assign, only for that security profile, whatever where clause gets satisfied as part of the security profile, only on those people you can create the absence, but remaining people you cannot create the absence. That's the meaning of this data security policy. It's a policy description. Okay, and absence case, it is the table name. Okay, and it is a screen. Manage absence case, it is a screen name, and for this role we have created this data security policy. So we're going to see that anyway. So job role will have those 4 things: duty roles, role hierarchy, direct and indirect hierarchies, aggregate privileges, and privileges for each duty role, and data security policies. So that's what this job role is about. Okay, next important thing before going to the next one. Okay, let's finish. Let me finish this. Next one is aggregate privileges. What is an aggregate privilege? Aggregate privilege. So before aggregate privilege, I was talking about functional privilege. First screen, when I'm talking about functional privilege, I was saying any programmable element is called a functional privilege. Then what is aggregate privilege? Aggregate privilege is actually a single functional privilege. It's a one functional privilege combined with multiple data security policy. One functional privilege combining with the multiple data security policies is called as an aggregate privilege. Okay, so that's why if you see in the job roles, job role is inheriting either the duty role or inheriting either the aggregate privileges. So aggregate privilege is nothing but the same screen access along with the one or more data security policies. That is an aggregate privilege. Example, promote an employee. Promoting an employee is a screen where you can do the promotion. Okay, promotion is if I say promote employee is an aggregate privilege. Okay, I have an example. So aggregate privilege is a promote worker. So what does this aggregate privilege bring? It will bring a screen where we can promote the worker, and it brings 2 data security policies, like which employees you can switch on this promote worker screen. And once you got the results on which employees you can really do the promotion. Okay, whom we can search, on whom you can do the promotion in which screen. So one functional security privilege and 2 data security policies combining together as a promote worker aggregate privilege, which we are assigning to a job role. Okay, so aggregate privilege is nothing but a single access privilege combined with multiple one or more data security policies which allow the worker to perform the assigned task. Okay, it's typically represent individual tasks that worker perform, typically one screen. Okay, and made up of a single function security privilege, and have one or more data security policies which this functional privilege typically grant access to work areas, dashboards, task flows, application pages, reports, and batch programs. And aggregate privilege is the bottom of the role inheritancy. It cannot inherit any other roles. At any role hierarchy, the bottom one you see is the aggregate privileges, and we cannot assign this aggregate privileges directly to the user. We cannot. All we can do, we can assign this aggregate privilege to a duty role, and we can assign the duty role to a job role, and we can assign job role to a data role, and data role to the user. Okay, so we cannot assign aggregate role directly to the user. Okay, so this is one example I was talking about. Now duty, okay. Now duty role. Duty role is similar to aggregate privilege, but it's a super aggregate privilege. It means it can have multiple functional privileges along with their data security policies. Okay, so aggregate privilege will have only one function privilege, whereas duty role can have more than one functional security privileges and can have one or more data security policies assigned for the data access. This is a duty role. Basically, and duty role may have multiple assigned security privileges, use relevant data security policies. It can inherit other aggregate privileges and other duty roles. A duty role can inherit other aggregate privilege, or it can inherit other duty role, and all the duty roles are delivered as part of security reference model. As I was showing, for every job role, duty roles are given, and these duty roles are part of the security reference model. They will come as part of the Fusion security reference model as part of the Fusion licensing. Okay, and represent logical privileges and permissions managed as a group. Basically, logical example, when it's a logical group of permissions, let us say I'm going back to the screen. Okay, so let us say I'm at HCM. So let us say I'm going to my workforce and I'm going to person management. For example, I'm saying person management is a work area. So in this person management, we are going to search person application page. To get the search person access, we need one functional privilege or one aggregate privilege access. Okay, so I'm going to search for some person, John. To set John in this screen, I should have access to the John's record. How do I get that? Based on the data security policies you defined. We're going to see that, how to define that. So I'm clicking on Robert John. In that Robert John, it will open up the assignment record. His employment record is Robert John. Okay, so if I go to task list, okay, if I say manage absence is the aggregate privilege, combination of relevant screens can be called as a duty role. If I say absence duty role, this absence duty role can give aggregate manage absence cases aggregate privilege, absence records aggregate privilege, manage work schedule assignment aggregate privilege. Maybe aggregate privilege or maybe another duty role. So we are going to get that. So we can think of like that. Duty role is a logical grouping of an aggregate privileges. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so yeah, so it's represent logical privileges and permissions managed as a group that can be called as a data security, duty role. Okay, and again, we can create a new data role, and we should never touch the existing duty role. We should not touch the existing duty role. We can always create the new new duty role if necessary. Okay, and we should not assign the duty roles directly to the user. Job role, at least we can assign some point of time, but duty roles we should never assign directly to the user. Okay, so let us say duty role. cash manager is job role. What cash manager can do? Cash manager can perform all this duty. They can, we have a bank statement and reconciliation duty role where they can reconcile bank statements and transaction, also manage setup information. So if this duty role, if you go to the security console and search for that role, you can find that role, and you can also see what that duty role is bringing along with that. So I'm going to tools, I'm going to security console, and as we know, if you go to security console, the first one is the roles, and here we can look for bank manage statement and reconciliation. So if any role is ending with OBI, that is called reporting access. If it is ending with duty, it is a plain duty role. If you click on the duty role, we will know this duty role is inheriting these roles. Okay, in turn inheriting these roles, and example customer account inquiry role, and whether we need to know whether it is a role or aggregate privilege. What you can do, you have something called diagrammatical view, graphical view here. Just click on the graphical view, it will show up the hierarchy here. Okay, if anything is a screen is a blue in color, that is called a privilege. It's called a simple functional privilege, simple access to the screen. If anything in this S, it is called a seeded role. Okay, so it is this duty role. Typically the naming is not there. If you hover over it, you can see the name, or if you can zoom into it, you can see the name. If you zoom into it, you can see the name. So we have bank statement and reconciliation is a duty role. This duty role is inheriting two seeded duty roles. See that? It is inheriting subledger accounting manager duty role and subledger accounting reporting duty role. Along with that, it is also inheriting access to all these functional privileges, access to all these screens, manage cash management infolet, review journal, view external cash transaction, all these screens it is bringing along with that. Okay, here if you see, this is the duty role, and this duty role has one more arrow like this. It means it is inheriting something else. If you want to know what this one is inheriting, just double click on it, it will show which role is getting inherited. So this role is inheriting another role called customer account inquiry duty role. Okay, so if you double click on it, it will say that it is also inheriting customer account inquiry role. Okay, so whatever hierarchy, this is the hierarchy how we will be seeing given a role, what is the role hierarchy. We can also see from the Fusion application, because these things will come as part of security reference model installation, which comes along with the Fusion basic licensing. Okay, so similarly, if I look for any job role, okay, so I will look for a job role now. Same job role what we have seen before, human resource analyst. When I say human resource analyst with the same name, we have two roles. If that is not being ended with OBI, something like that, both are ending with job, same role, same name, but different job codes. Typically, this thing will happen only for the customers where they have migrated from the release 11 to release 12. Okay, if they bought licensing at release 12 and they upgrade to release 12 at a point of time, for those people you will be seeing the same job role name with different job codes. Out of this, you have to take the ORA_PR job codes. Anything starts with ORA, that is the job code we have information, or any further custom roles or any further hierarchies. So what this human resource analyst job is doing, this job, these are list of roles and privileges what this human resource role analyst is actually bringing along with that. If you wanted to see all the information to one place, you can export to Excel and you can open in the Excel sheet. Or if you wanted to see in the graph hierarchy, you can click that. It will have will show a huge list of inheritance that it will do. It will have the three kinds of colors. One is orange color, one is red color as S, and other one is blue color as P. If it is S, it is called seeded role. If it is A, it is called aggregate privilege. And if it is P, it means it is a functional privilege. It's a standalone screen access. Okay. And if you want, you can export each and individual items to the Excel sheet for your reference. Okay, you can look at only aggregate privileges, or if you want to look at only privileges, or if you want to look at only the existing seeded data roles which is being inherited by this human resource analyst, you can see that. So typically, if I expand more, this human resource analyst is bringing what I will do, I am pointing to the seeded roles. So here we can see what are all the roles this human resource analyst is inheriting. Okay, so an explanation for every role will be given here. Okay, so if I go back to the example, it is inheriting the so person view. So person view is a duty role. What this duty role is giving search and view person related information. Okay, so this duty role is bringing person view, which will search and view person related information. Okay, so if you see the person view, I'm just copying it and pasting it here. So for the same human resource analyst, we are seeing the list of total roles inherited, including all the duty roles inherited directly and indirectly, and all the aggregate privileges, the direct screen access. And in the privilege, in the person view, see that this privilege, this duty role give access to these privileges: search person screen, view person screen, view person documentation screen, searches and views person related information. Okay, so this person view is part of the human resource analyst. If I go here and search by person view, it is a person view which will have this is the role, and we have two here. One is duty and one is duty OBI. OBI means reporting, it is means application. So we can search for the person in the application, and we can report the search for the person, or we can pull the person in the reporting as well. So to get reporting access, we talk about OBI. When I talk about OBI reporting, OTBI part, I will talk about this security roles at that point of time. For now, all you need to worry is the duty role, which will give access to the person view. Okay. Now, enough of talking. So what we will do, let's see them in the action. Okay. Now what I will do, we have seen the fundamentals of all the roles. Okay. Let us start seeing how each one will work. Okay. What I will do as a beginning, I will we have seen the fundamentals. We should always assign data role to the user. What if without assigning data role, if we assign a job role to the user? Okay, so we have seen all the fundamentals, and this is one demonstration of inheriting the roles. As I said, this is a human resource job role is inheriting a duty role and aggregate privileges, and this duty role is inheriting two more duty roles, and we're assigning the job role to the data role, and this data role has security profile of Vision Corporation, and we're assigning this data role to the user, let's say Alan. Okay, now what I will do, we know till now, till this point of time, we know what hierarchies Oracle has given. Till this point of time, we know what is job role and what does it bring along with that. So what I will do, instead of assigning data role to the user, I will directly assign this job role to the user, and I will see what I can access. Okay, so for that, I will go and create a user, or We already had a user created yesterday as Accenture HCM IMPL1. I will take that user. I will take this user and directly assign a job role to the user, something I have created already. So we will remove this one. Okay, this person doesn't have any roles assigned now. And now my plan is to assign job role directly to this user. Okay, so I'm going here and I'm going to search the job role, the seeded job role, human resource analyst. Okay, I'm assigning the human resource analyst. If you have the same name, then look at the code start with ORA, take it and assign it.
One small doubt.
Yeah.
How we can identify it was assigned to a user or not assigned to a user? Suppose HR
Gotcha.
implement Accenture. So you said it assigned to user. So how we can identify it is assigned to user or it's not assigned?
So HR IMPL1.Accenture is a user, and your question is how we know to whom this human resource analyst job role is assigned to. Is that your question?
No. You said few things. Suppose implementation thing, it won't assign to the user. Some job roles we can assign to the users directly.
Some job roles, right? Yeah.
So how we can identify it is a user, it is not assigned to user like that.
Okay. So I will cover that. I will cover that one maybe end of this today's session or tomorrow. I will let you know which role we can assign directly to the user and which we should not assign. For that, I'm giving a small demonstration. This one really typically we should not assign to the user directly, this job role, but we assigned it. Let us see how the system will behave. Okay. Let us see how it will behave. So I am assigned it. So I am saving and closing it. Typically, human resource analyst job role, we have seen that role can search and view person information. Because this is one of the role this human resource analyst is inherited. So this role will bring access to person view screen where we can search and view the information. They said that, right? Let us, as this role is assigned to the Accenture user, let's log in as Accenture user and see whether that Accenture user can search or view the person information. Okay, let's try it out. Okay, so I assigned it. That click on done. I'm just taking a copy of that name. Okay, so before logging in as Accenture user and do the search for the employees, how do the search for the employees typically work in normal user? So I'm in some user, administrator user who have access to everything. Typically to search for the employee, they have to go to my workforce and they have to go to person management. In the person management, typically they can go and search for the employee because this is the search person screen, right? It is a search person screen. So go here and just search for some name, John. So I could able to see the records of the John. So typically this is how it should work for the Accenture user as well. That's our expectation because we think that we have given the job role, we'll have this access and typically they can do the search. If the Accenture user go and search, does the data come up? That's what we are going to test. So I'm going to log out now and I'm going to log in as an Accenture user who has got the job role assigned directly. Okay, so I'm going to log in as HCM IMPL1 Accenture, and this person will have most of the screen access because HR analyst will have this access, and this whatever HR analyst job role is bringing access to my workforce, and bringing access to person management where they can search the employees. Okay, search the employees. So if I go here and write John and search, does it pull any information? It is not pulling anything. It gave access to the screen, but it's not pulling any information here. The reason is we have assigned the job role, but we haven't defined any data security policies and given that. As there are no data security policies, as it is plain job role, it is not meaningful. It doesn't give any information. All you can see the screen. Because that HR analyst job role is inheriting a person view duty role, which in turn inheriting such person screen. That's why you're able to see the screens. But it's of no use. Right? It's of no use. So if it's of no use, then nothing. Even if you go and run any report, even if you go and run any report as this user, you won't be seeing any information. You can go ahead and create a report, and even if you run the report, you won't get any kind of information. Okay, so I will talk about what is this report and what is the analysis. Typically, business users will do the reporting like this from here. They will just drag and drop what data they needed, and they will see the data or the screen immediately. So don't worry about all this information. I'm just saying, if this person who has a HR analyst job role, person name, I'm just pulling the person date of birth and person name. If I try to see the information, it may not show any information. So it won't show up any information. Basically, I don't have, it's showing blank. It doesn't have any information because this person is plain. A person is having only job role. This person doesn't have any data role. It won't work. So how to make it work? It means we should not assign the job role directly to the user. We should create a data role and then inherit this job role and then create the data security policies and then assign the data role to the user. Then it will work. Okay, let us do that now. I'm going back and logging in as administrator.
Lakshmi, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a difference between security profile and data security policy?
When I say data security policy, in HCM world, it is security profile. And in finance world, it is a data context. In the CRM world, it is actually a resource run roles. The terminology, data security policy is a common terminology, and in individual offerings or individual modules, they call it as different terminologies.
Okay.
So
duty role has a data security policy, right?
No. Okay. Let me cover that. So these security policies, in HCM uses data security policies as a okay. So HCM user something we define here as security profile. So it is for HCM. So for FSCM, same data security policies, we call it as a data context. And CRM, same data security policies, we use resource roles and job titles. Okay. Now coming to your thing, here data security policies is there, but here, what is the meaning of this screen here is, for each, for we have, it's a data security policy or data security policy. Here, data security policy, every data security policy, as I said, it will have a database resource. That's a table. The table name is absence case table. Okay, and currently this database, this security policy will come along with this duty role. That's true, but this duty role, whatever duty role it is, this duty role will come into action. Okay, by the time when it is assigned to the user, we have some data security policies are already defined. Okay, at that point of time, for this screen, we could able to access the absence case data based on the security profile we defined. Okay, I have a small PPT, small diagram for that. I know it is confusion, so I was about to show that in the next screen. Though it is given in that given there in the security reference model, it doesn't mean that this data policy is assigned to the duty role. Basically, this data security policy will get executed at the time of accessing the data, at time of doing the real operation. So in this case, take the same example. In this case, we have the human resource specialist within corporation data role, and we are assigned this job role to this data role, and this security profile will be assigned to this data role. So this security profile will bring the data security policies and will get it affected for this aggregate privilege duty role. All the whatever aggregate privileges and duty roles are created, these things will get applied. Same thing, the security profile will apply on these duty roles and aggregate privileges, and they are called data security policies, basically. Okay, so it means data security policies are not defined a duty role. These data security policies will get executed at the time the Lindsay Allen access some information based on the data role that is created. Okay, so in this previous case example, for Accenture user, if the data security policies are defined at duty role, then that person should be able to see some data, but that person hasn't seen any data, not able to see any data, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So that is what I'm going to define now. I'm going to define a data security policies now. In the HR, data security policies terminology is called security profile. Okay, I'm going to do that. So how do I create that security profiles in the HCM application? You have to go to My Workforce and go to work structures. In the work structures, so in the task list, go to the task list. In the task list, we have something called data roles. Okay, we have something called manage data role and security profile. Click this.
Through tools and security also we can assign now data roles.
Yeah, but we have to create the data role first.
Okay, first we need to create the data.
Correct. Now I'm creating the data role.
Okay.
And along with the security profile. Okay, now I'm going to create a data role. I will going to create Rainbow HR Analyst data role. Okay, I'm just going to create a rainbow analyst data role. Okay. And what I need to inherit the job role. What job role I need to inherit? I need to inherit human resource analyst. And we need to assign human resource analyst job role, that is starts with ORA. So data role exists. Someone has created a data role with this based on this job role already, but their security policies might be different. Our security policies might be different. So it will throw a warning message saying that you are about to create a data role which is already existed, which already inherited the same job role in another data role. Do you want to create a new one? I would say yes, because my security policies might be different. Maybe I want to create a data role for China HR or something like that. Now we have the security criteria where we can security profile. Okay, for this job, what they can do? What organizations they can do? Or what positions they can view? What people they can see? Okay, so do they want to see all the people, or we want to restrict by business unit, by legal employer, by payroll, or by some custom criteria? Similarly, as a human resource, do we need to allow whoever having this data role assigned, do we need to allow them to view all the organizations across the company? Then we have to define the profile here. If you think no, they should not able to see all the organizations, means all the business units, legal employers, divisions, we cannot allow this people who are having this data role, we should not allow to see everything. Then we have to restrict this organization. So for now, what I will do, I'll give access for everything. They can view all. Okay, so here we have something called view all organizations. It means we can view all the organizations across the company. If you want to restrict the list, then we can create a security profile. We can create a new security profile by doing some criteria, some limitations, like writing a where clause. Okay, we will see that later. For now, I'm just trying to assign every access, view all organizations, view all positions, and view all legislative data groups, which will bring currencies, and view all persons. Is person and public person, difference is there. Person is actually on whom you wanted to do some operations, like HR typically access person record. Public person means if employee directory where we can look for the employee, search for the employee in the directory, and while searching it will show the basic information. And if you want whoever having this role could able to search any person in the directory, then you can say view all. Okay, this is nothing but where HR typically operate on the person record, like changing manager, changing location, like this. So all functionality, just understand the technicality behind that. Okay, so view all people, view all workers. Workers means only employees. People means employees, and if we have suppliers, we have the customers, everyone. View all people. Similarly, I'm giving access to view all people. View all people. Similarly, giving access to view all documents of the employee. Don't restrict by any document type. Sometimes we have to restrict. We should not give access to the national identifier documentation, driving license documentation, something like that. View all the payroll flows. It's typical to the payroll. Okay, so I'm created it. Okay, so and then so typically what by default it creates security profiles for individual, organization, position, listed data group, person, public person, document type, payroll flow. For individual think they are going to create a security profile. By default, as we haven't given any criteria here, any SQL predicates here, by default we are giving view all. It is actually giving view all information for every object. Okay, so I'm just going to, yeah, it gives you everything. View all listed data group. We are not giving any criteria or any SQL predicates anywhere. We will see that maybe in the last session, how to give our custom predicates. Okay, I'll just go to review page. So now I'm defining the security policies now. Security for this data role, which is inheriting this human resource job role, what organizations they can see, what positions they can see, and everything is a data security policy. Okay, for everything is going to create a data security policy. It means if with this data role, if you try to access documents, it will go to that data security policy document type. So what access this person has, this role has, it has view all document types. Okay, it means no where clause in any on the documents table. We make all the documents table visible to the user who has this data role.
So Lakshmi, here when you say view all organizations, that is a security profile, right? That view all organizations.
Yep, that's right.
And what is the policy?
So, right. So security profile and security policy both are same.
Okay.
Okay. So for security policy, we use security profile as a terminology in HCM.
Okay.
Okay. If you see here, nowhere you can see the security policies name anywhere here.
Yes.
You can only see the security profile.
Yep.
Security profile nothing but a security policy, data security policy.
Okay.
Maybe confusing, but
I got an understanding that maybe this entire thing is called a policy. Each one is a profile, like organization, you selected some profile,
right?
Some other document type, you selected a profile, but then if you bring the whole thing together,
right,
that's a policy. But that is not the case then.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going to show what our policies got created now. We are going to see that as well. So I'm going to show that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm searching for my Rainbow HR analyst now. So HR analyst data role is created now, and it has a role code assigned RB_HR analyst_ data role _data. So I got the data role created now. Okay. So what I will do now, I will assign this data role to the Accenture user and again go back and do the search. Okay, so I'm going to tools and I'm going to security console. I'm going to talk about this error in detail. There's a whole architecture is there behind this job. So now I'll go to the Accenture user again. So this Accenture user, I'm going to take out this job role. You should not assign job role, so I will take it off. And here I will assign the Rainbow human resource HR analyst data role, that one we created. Okay, so save and close. It takes a couple of minutes to get affected. So before that, I'll wait couple of minutes to make sure those roles get provisioned between the systems. I'm going back to role screen. Let me pull back the role I created. Rainbow HRNS data role. So this is the data role we created. Okay, so if we open this data role, data role, this is the role we created. So this role will have the, as this role inherits the our HRNS job role. This role will have, if you go to the security function security policies, nothing but function privileges. Here, if we load the inherited policies, it means it will give all the screens what this role has access to. It can compare HR information, can enter salary details, can view salaries, can manage salaries, enter variable compensation, manage absence case, and for every function privilege, what we can see what table, what is that respective resource name, and on which web top it is available. More technical details will be there for each screen here. And if you go to the data security policies, here you can see whatever policies we have defined. View all people, whatever policies we have defined on while creating the data role, those policies will show up here. So for national identifier, view all the people. Okay, so if you see the public person, view all people. We don't have any restriction there. Okay, if you want to see more into that, you can edit data security policy. Here it will say that it is the policy name, as I was showing that. Data security policy, the first one is database resource, primary key corresponding to the database table. So here resource is public person. Public person is the primary key of the HR PR underscore persons table. It is a database resource. Okay, and the next thing is a role that has been provisioned for that. What is the role that is provisioned? HR analyst data role that is provisioned. Okay, so that is the role that we have provisioned this data policy. And what is next? A rule to define the available row instance SQL predicate. What is that? Condition name is that view all people. Okay, and what action we can choose? We can do based on that. We can choose the public person. This is the action we can do on this. So that is the last one or more action: view, edit, or delete. So as part of this specific public person data policy, so we can view all the public people in this data policy. Okay, so the same thing will be defined for each and every data policy. So whenever we have created that security profile in the HCM module, that is a HCM module, and security console is a common reference model where we can see all the view roles, policies, everything at one point of time, irrespective of the module. Okay, so I am going to come again on this one and talk about when I talk about FSCM data security policies, I am going to come here and assign the security profiles here. Okay, by creating a data security policy, I will do that. And next one.
Yeah, Lakshmi, I got it. I understand what you meant.
Right. Okay. Thanks. So, and it is a role name. What are the inherited roles that we are inheriting for the human resource analyst, the one we have seen in that security console. And next, users. What users we have assigned this role? HCM, IMP, L1, Accenture. If you want, you can assign more user here. Okay. I just trying to show while this data is getting synchronized for Accenture user. Now I'm logging out. Maybe if you have seen the finance training, maybe there you might be seeing that, right, Pradeep? Sorry.
Sorry, Lakshmi, could you repeat that?
So if you've been to the finance, if you've seen the finance training in the Fusion Finance training, maybe you can relate assigning the data context to the.
Yeah, that's true, Lakshmi. But what you have covered in this session is really, really good, because these are the fundamentals.
Right.
Because I didn't go through this training, I was not understanding a lot of things over there.
Oh, okay. That's nice to know.
But this is really very good. The way you have covered this entire, it's quite an involved concept.
Yeah, yeah. And I was struggling actually to cover the things.
No, I think you've done really good, because to explain all of this and to bring it all together under one umbrella, it's a great achievement.
Right. Thank you. So now I'm logged into HCM IMPL1 Accenture user now. This person has the data role assigned now. It means the person has the screen access as well as data access. So I'm going to person management now. And I'm going to do the search again. John. So I should be able to see the data for the employees. So now we can see the information about all the people, because I have given access to everything to show up. So now this person could be able to see all the information. So search person is coming from the job role, and data is coming from the data security policies or security profile that I have just created. So here we have seen how the data job roles played together. Okay, so I think I will stop here, because I know it's too much of information today, and tomorrow we'll start freshly on the remaining topics, because I didn't. We need to expand what I'm talking. I need to cover something about the architecture behind this data, the security roles, where the roles will be stored, where the policies will be stored, and where the user and role mapping will be stored, and how all these things will get synchronized together, because everything has their own different database schemas. How all the things will synchronize together to make them synchronize. What are the steps? What are the background jobs we need to run, and how to schedule the jobs in the Fusion application. And I'll talk about that, and then I will start talking about abstract roles, and then I will show how to create a new job role, and how to new job role by copying the existing job role, and how to take out the functional privileges and duty roles out of it, and how to modify the data security policies in the security console, and also how to create that roles in the finance world. And yeah, we'll talk more about all those things. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask me, else we can continue tomorrow.
Thanks, Lakshmi.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lakshmi. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Lakshmi. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Lakshmi, I have the few questions. Like
I was about to ask you actually.
Sorry, I'm getting little bit confused that data roles and
Okay.
first question. First question I can put you in Telugu only.
I'm not sure how many people is aware of.
Okay.
Yeah, you can take it offline.
Okay.
Yeah, you can shoot out the questions. Maybe it may be helpful for some people.
What I'm asking is, suppose the Oracle has first you taken the license, they're going to implement that HCM model.
Okay.
So you said first we can create one IT manager role under the implementation.
Correct.
Those two we can't assign to the user, right? Those two login credentials or something.
Because at that point of time, you don't have any human being existing in the system.
Okay.
As there are no human being existing in the system, why there's no human being is available by that point of time? Because we don't have the
structure of the company.
So at that point of time, we don't need to worry about the data. All we need to worry about is setups.
Okay.
Setups means screens.
Screen.
Give the screen access. As we don't need to worry about data, all we need to give screen access. That's why we are directly assigning those two job roles: what application implementation consultant and IT security manager. So if you see the roles, same release role I'm going, we have two kinds of roles there. One is security reference for Oracle applications common features. One is security reference for Oracle HCM Cloud. If I click on the Oracle application cloud common features, there you can see the list of the common usernames, common job roles where we can assign to the user. In these common job roles, you can see the application implementation consultant. This application implementation consultant has a long list of roles, duties, privileges comes along with that. If you see this application implementation consultant, it will have all these screens access by default, the super access. So they could able to implement sales, they could able to implement AR, they could able to implement a TCA architecture, they could do everything basically.
Okay, it means that the ID can use by anyone if they want to log in with that IT manager console. Anyone can, it's like a...
If anyone who has access to that IT security manager,
Okay.
they can create new users, they can log into the application and do the necessary setups.
Okay. And one more thing I didn't understand. What is seeded and aggregative? I'm getting confused. Seeded
And
aggregative.
okay. So seeded means, seeded and aggregative both are completely different meaning actually. When it's seeded, whatever Oracle is giving as part of the license. So this role, this is a seeded role.
Okay, application
It is a
development.
seeded role. It is seeded role. If I go to the seeded role, the seeded role we have some duties. It is the seeded duty role.
Okay.
Seeded duty role, and it is seeded job role, and given by the Oracle basically.
Okay.
Okay, and we have seeded aggregate privileges and seeded data security policy. We have seeded privileges basically. See here, the seeded aggregate privileges. Okay, and seeded functional privileges. And we have seeded data security policies. That's the meaning of it. Okay, now coming to the aggregate privilege. Before coming to aggregate privilege, you have to understand what is a privilege.
With the permission.
Yeah, what is a privilege? It's called a functional privilege. Functional privilege is nothing but a screen, a plain screen. If I say that person management, then it is a screen. Okay, this such person is a screen. It's called a functional privilege. Okay, and this functional privilege has some data security policies. Means in this screen, what data I can search.
Okay.
That is called data security policy. A screen plus data security policy combinedly called as aggregate privileges. Okay. Functional privilege plus data security policy can be called as aggregate privilege.
Aggregate. Okay.
Yeah. I know it's a little bit
confusing. That's right.
Yeah, but if you start, it needs some theory to read, and also we have to do little practice. So next session we will have some more topics, some more use case scenarios, and next session we'll have some more use case scenarios. Maybe that point of time you can understand that.
Last question. Now you given now you created Accenture one user ID, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that, now you created data role. Before that, we given the job role.
Correct.
So is there any means? Suppose I'm the employee. I'm going to give the permission job role to the one person.
Okay.
So is there any way that different? Suppose job role you given the woman resource, it was assigned. But the data role you given RB Rainbow Institution.
Right.
So we can identify it differently. those two things when we want to give the permissions to the
Yes,
customer?
yes. So whenever we want to give the permission, so typically what you going to do, you need to know what is that role first, right?
Yeah.
So how we can do that? You can go to that security console. Say this person don't have access to security console.
Okay.
So I'm logging in as someone who has access to security console. Let's say my MP11. I'm going to security console here. So here, just go and search for that job, whatever job we created. So we created Rainbow HR, right? If you click on this role, it will say that, it will say, if you click on the edit role, it will say, what is that? It will say HCM data role.
It's the name rate code.
Role category, not by name, it's a category. Category is a data role. It means saying that this is the data role, basically. And if you wanted to know what this role is getting inherited, you can look at this show graph. It will say that it is inheriting the HCM resource analyst data job role. Okay. Similarly, if you wanted to know
Job.
yeah, that whatever role you wanted to, just search for that role first. Look out for that role first. Human resource analyst job role. Look at that role first to understand what does it mean. What is this role having? Okay, so you can look out for this role, and you can see what does it contain. It's a job role.
Job. Okay, I understand now.
You can figure it out. So maybe again tomorrow I will again revisit this one quickly for the first 15 minutes, and then we can start from there.
Okay, thanks, Rashmi.
Yeah, don't worry, it will be confusion, but even I confused for a long time. So understand the fundamentals. That will be easy for us to start the project.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Lakshmi Vishnath here.
Yes, Vishwanath.
So just as a apps consultant, when I'm comparing the fusion roles concept with apps, what I understand is like as a data role is nothing as a responsibility. Okay.
Data role.
It's nothing as a responsibility
Responsible.
which we are assigning to the user, which is having the. Am I correct?
Correct. So
yeah, please.
when you create responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
did you work on HR by any chance?
Yeah. I know it.
So if you see a security profile is there, we have HR security profile.
Mm-hmm.
We assign the business group to responsibility.
Correct.
That is
Which
the
we can have access to the respective
that is the
responsibility.
data role.
Okay.
You understand that?
I got it.
Mhm.
Okay. And job role is nothing as a menu, like which is having the different page accesses, okay, which has been assigned to the user.
It's more than that.
Maybe
So-
functionality has been added more. Okay,
Yeah,
so that means, yeah, please.
Work area, dashboard, task flows, application pages can come along with the menu. What about the reports and jobs? They come along with the request set.
Yeah.
Request set plus menu is equal to responsibility. So responsibility, we can say that it's a job role,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay. Responsibility we can say as a job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And responsibility plus security profile we can say as a data role.
Okay. Responsibility plus security profile. Okay.
Fundamentals are same more or less.
So here, okay, so the duty role is nothing as a page, like
Menu. That's the menu. You can say that.
okay, so duty role is nothing as a menu.
Yes.
Okay. And aggregate role is like as a page.
It's a page. Yes. It's a function. You can say.
Yeah, function.
A page is nothing but functional privilege.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you want to be provide the restriction to the page, like okay, I want to be view or edit or delete.
Hmm.
So where we can restrict, either it is in the data role or in the
It should be in the, when it's a view, edit, delete, right? It's on data.
so from the data role by making of the security profile option.
Security profile option. That is one way. There's other way as well. So directly in the security console also we have data security policies.
Okay.
So there also we can do the restriction. I gonna walk through that maybe tomorrow or day after. That methodology as well.
But if you do at the data role level, it will be applicable to all the pages, right?
Yes.
But if I want to be make it unrestrict specific to the page, then is there any functionality in the aggregate role itself?
Yes, that is the one I was telling. In the security console, we can do that. Okay. So whatever I have shown for the data role, I went to the My Workforce, I went to the data security space and did that right. Instead of that, at the common location, the tool security console also we can do. That is the place we can restrict at the page level.
Okay.
I will talk about that. It's a little more complex scenario. I will try to cover that in our, if possible, in the upcoming sessions. Else we take it at the end. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.